Hi, my name is Gideon. I'm a licensed Austin realtor, and if you're watching this, you're probably thinking about making the move to Austin, Texas. And one of the very first questions on your mind is, can I actually afford to live there? Exactly what we're going to break down today. Not the glossy brochures, but the real numbers. What housing actually costs, what your paycheck feels like after expenses, and the hidden costs that most people don't find out about until after they've already signed their lease or closed on their house. So let's get into it. First, the headlines. Austin's overall cost of living sits right around 3% below the national average. That sounds great on paper, but there's a catch. Austin housing specifically runs 3% over the national average. Since housing is the biggest line item on most people's budget, there's where you need to pay close attention. Now, compared to cities like San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Austin still looks like a bargain. But compared to where Austin was 5 years ago, that's a completely different city. The days of cheap rent and starter homes under 200,000 inside the city limits are essentially gone. So let's talk specific numbers. If you're planning on renting, here's what the market looks like right now. A one-bedroom apartment in Austin will run you roughly $1,600 per month on average. A two-bedroom is going to push you closer to $2,100 to $2,200 per month. And those are averages. If you want to live in trendy neighborhoods like South Congress or East Austin or downtown, you can add another $200 to $400 on top of that easily. Now, there's some good news. The rental market has actually softened compared to the 2021-2022 peak frenzy. There's been a wave of new construction and apartment complexes here in the metro, which means more inventory, more competition among landlords. And in some cases, there's actually room for negotiations, free first month's rent, waived application fees, things like that. If you're looking at the suburbs, places like Pflugerville, Round Rock, Cedar Park, or Kyle, you can actually bring that down significantly. We're talking $300 to $500 less per month for a comparable unit in some cases. Now, here's a budget tip. Aim to spend no more than 30% of your gross monthly income on rent. So, for example, if you're making $70,000 a year, that's about $1,750 a month in housing, which is totally doable in Austin. But you need to be intentional about the neighborhoods that you choose. Now, let's talk about buying. This is where things get more complex and where a lot of people get surprised. The metro median house price in Austin right now is $430,000 to $450,000. That's down from the absolute insane peak of 2022 when homes were selling $100,000 over asking price in bidding wars. The market is cooled, inventory has improved, and if you're a buyer right now, you actually have some leverage. But here's the number that catches people. Property tax. Texas has no state income tax, which is a huge selling point. We'll talk about that more in another slide or another video, but to make up for it, property taxes are high. In the Austin area, you're typically talking probably an effective range of 1.8 to 2.2 of your home's assessed value per year. So let's do the math real quick. A $440,000 home at a 2% effective tax rate, that's about $8,800 per year in property taxes, or roughly $733 every single month added on top of the mortgage payment. Now, that's not nothing. That's a car payment and then some. So when you're running the numbers on a home that you want to purchase, don't just look at the mortgage. Calculate the full PITI, and that's principals, interest, tax, and insurance. The difference between what the mortgage payment looks like and what you're actually writing a check for every month can be shocking if you're not prepared. One more thing. If you're looking at new home construction in the suburbs, watch out for MUDs. That's a municipal utility district. These can add an extra 30 cents to 80 cents per $100 of assessed value on top of your regular property tax. Always ask the builder for the total combined tax rate before you make an offer. Okay, let's move beyond housing to the day-to-day stuff. Utilities in Austin average around $170 to $175 per month for electricity alone. And that's an annual average. In the summer, when temperatures are regularly in the high 90s or triple digits, your AC is running constantly. That's a $300 to $400 electric bill in July and August. And that's completely normal. Budget for it. Don't be surprised by it. Water, gas, internet typically add another $150 to another $175 per month on top of that. Groceries for one person will run you roughly $400 to $500 a month. Austin has an excellent grocery option. HEB is the local favorite, and it's genuinely fantastic. Transportation, if you're driving, which most people in Austin do because public transportation is limited, factor in insurance, maintenance, and parking if you work downtown. You're probably looking at another $400 to $600 a month total. Dining and entertainment, Austin has incredible food scene. You can eat cheap food truck tacos for $3 if you want, or you can spend a lot. The city makes it very easy to spend money on experiences, which is part of the charm and part of the danger of the budget. So let's put this all together. What do you actually need to earn to live comfortably in Austin? If you're single, a household income of roughly 65 to 85 a year will get you a comfortable life. A decent apartment, car, dining out regularly, some savings. If you're a family of four, planning on a household income of at least $110,000 to $120,000 to cover housing, utilities, childcare, transportation, and all of the essentials without financial stress. If you're relocating from a coastal city and bringing a coastal salary with you, especially if you're a remote worker, Austin can feel very affordable by comparison. If you're coming from a smaller market and hoping Austin has kept the old reputation for being cheap, just recalibrate your expectations before arriving. Here's the bottom line. Austin is absolutely livable, and for the right person in the right situation, it's an incredible city. But it rewards people that do their homework before they arrive, not after. And if you would like to run your own numbers before committing to anything, head over to GideonSellsAustin.com. That's where I keep a full cost of living breakdown, neighborhood by neighborhood pricing, relocation resources so that you can plan with real numbers, not guesswork. In the next videos in this series, we're going to be covering the best neighborhoods, suburbs, pros and cons of life in Austin, the job market, what to expect from the weather and taxes. So make sure that you subscribe. I don't want you to miss out on any of these. If you found this helpful, drop a comment. Let me know where you're relocating from and what your biggest question are about, Austin. I read every single one, and we'll see you on the next one.